Has your heart ever pounded with the agonizing question of how much precious time a championship contender can truly afford to waste, patiently waiting for potential to blossom when the relentless clock is already ticking toward midnight? The Los Angeles Lakers, a franchise steeped in legendary glory, find themselves precisely at one of those seismic crossroads, a juncture that will undoubtedly define their trajectory for decades to come. On one side of this critical intersection sits patience, the serene belief that young talent will inevitably develop, that carefully selected draft picks will pan out, that the future is a sacred trust worth protecting at all costs. On the other, however, sits a burning, undeniable urgency. The stark, chilling recognition that LeBron James is now 40 years old, that championship windows slam shut faster than anyone expects, and that sometimes, just sometimes, you have to sacrifice tomorrow's promise to seize today's ultimate triumph. And right now, according to one audacious, bold trade proposal, the Lakers might be on the precipice of choosing urgency over patience in a way that could fundamentally, irrevocably reshape their roster and their championship aspirations. When the Lakers orchestrated the monumental move to bring Luka Dončić to Los Angeles last season, the vision was crystal clear, almost blinding in its ambition. The plan was simple, yet audacious. Pair him with the incomparable LeBron James, forge an unstoppable super team capable of competing for championships immediately, and most critically, maximize the remaining precious years of James's legendary, unparalleled career. It was an all-in move, the kind of franchise-altering decision that either culminates in glorious championship parades, etching indelible memories into the annals of history, or descends into devastating, haunting what-ifs that plague a fan base for generations. But here's the uncomfortable, gnawing truth that Lakers management is grappling with right now, a truth that keeps them awake at night. Having two generational superstars isn't enough if the supporting cast can't consistently deliver when it matters most, when the stakes are highest. And increasingly, there are profound questions swirling about whether the current roster construction is actually optimized for winning, for truly contending at the elite level required for a title. Now enter Dalton Connect, the second-year player who arrived in the City of Angels with considerable hype, a wave of excitement that has, unfortunately, seen that initial enthusiasm fade faster than a Lakers lead in the fourth quarter. And enter a trade proposal that would see the Lakers cut ties with Connect, shipping him and the often-injured Gabe Vincent to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Nick Richards and Royce O'Neale, a $57 million duo that could provide the immediate, tangible impact Los Angeles so desperately needs. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario, it's a potential seismic shift. Let's start with the player at the very center of this trade proposal, because understanding why the Lakers would even consider moving Dalton Connect requires a deep dive into what's happened to his stock over the past year. Coming out of college, Connect was universally viewed as a player brimming with legitimate upside, someone who, with proper development, could evolve into a valuable rotation piece, perhaps even more if every single piece of the puzzle broke perfectly. The Lakers, ever in pursuit of both present and future value, invested heavily in that potential, hoping he'd grow into a consistent contributor who could help them compete now while also representing significant value for the future. But here's the harsh, unforgiving reality of NBA development. Not every prospect pans out, not every timeline aligns, and not every team has the luxury of waiting indefinitely to find out. Connect is heading into his sophomore season, and the initial hype that surrounded him has, regrettably, fizzled out like a wet firecracker on a rainy night. His trade value, a critical asset for any franchise, is perceptibly decreasing, which means if the Lakers are going to move him, they need to do it now, before that value drops even further, becoming a sunk cost. This isn't necessarily an indictment of Connect as a player or a person. Development timelines vary wildly, and some players simply need more time than others to adjust to the dizzying speed and physicality of the NBA level. But the Lakers, with their aging superstar, simply don't have time. LeBron James is 40 years old. That number isn't going to get smaller, and every single season that passes without a championship is a wasted opportunity, a precious chance that can never be recovered. the front office faces a brutal but absolutely necessary question. Do they continue investing in Connect's potential, hoping he develops into a meaningful contributor before James retires? Or do they cash out now, trading him for established players who can help them win immediately right here, right now? According to Athlon Sports' Nathaniel Holloway, the answer should be unequivocally the latter. The trade proposal, as outlined by Holloway, is a stark embodiment of immediate impact over future potential. Here's the framework of the trade that Holloway proposed on Friday, and it's worth examining in meticulous detail because every single piece matters, every player's role is critical. The Lakers would receive Nick Richards and Royce O'Neale. In return, the Suns would receive Dalton Connect, Gabe Vincent, and undisclosed draft capital. On the surface, this looks like a classic win-now move, the Lakers sacrificing youth and future assets for established veterans who can contribute immediately. But dig deeper, and you'll quickly see that this trade addresses specific glaring weaknesses in the Lakers roster while also providing value beyond just the season. While moving on from Connect could be difficult for the Lakers to do, swapping him and Vincent for Richards and O'Neale could be a solid move for them to make, especially with Connect's trade value decreasing, Holloway explained, highlighting the pragmatic, almost ruthless calculus at play. Let's break down what the Lakers would be getting in return, because these aren't just random veterans, they're players who fill specific, critical needs that have plagued Los Angeles all season. Royce O'Neale represents everything the Lakers hoped Dalton Connect would become, except O'Neale is already there, a proven, reliable commodity. He's a quintessential 3-and-D wing who can guard multiple positions with tenacity, knock down open shots with consistency, and make those crucial, winning plays that often don't show up in the box score, but are absolutely vital to championship teams. In today's NBA, players like O'Neale are pure gold, and the Lakers desperately, unequivocally need more of them. The beauty of acquiring O'Neale is that he offers immediate, impactful value while also fitting the long-term timeline of building around Luka Dončić. Even when LeBron eventually inevitably retires, O'Neale will still be a valuable rotation player who can help Dončić compete for championships. That's the sweet spot the Lakers desperately need to find. Players who help them win now while remaining useful and impactful in the post-LeBron era. O'Neale's defensive versatility is particularly valuable given the Lakers' struggles on that end of the floor. He can switch across multiple positions, handle tough defensive assignments against elite scorers, and provide the kind of consistent effort and defensive IQ that championship teams absolutely require. Offensively, he's not going to wow you with highlight reel plays or demand the ball, but he'll space the floor, make the right passes, and convert open looks when the defense inevitably collapses on Dončić and James. This is the player the Lakers thought they were getting with Connect, except O'Neale is proven, reliable, and ready to contribute in meaningful playoff games right now. That's the profound difference between potential and production, and for a team with championship aspirations, production wins every single time. Then there's Nick Richards, addressing another gaping hole. The Lakers' center situation has been a revolving door of mediocrity for what feels like an eternity. They've cycled through various options, none of whom have provided the consistent two-way impact that championship teams need from the 5 position. Nick Richards isn't going to make anyone forget about prime Dwight Howard or Shaquille O'Neal, but he's a legitimate NBA center who can actually defend, and in today's perimeter-oriented league, that's far more valuable than many people realize. Richards brings defensive capabilities that the Lakers have sorely lacked. He can protect the rim with authority, switch onto smaller, quicker players when necessary, and provide the kind of interior presence that makes life significantly easier for everyone else on defense. When you have 2 offensive superstars in Dončić and James, you need role players who can defend without requiring significant offensive touches or disrupting the flow. Richards fits that description perfectly. Offensively, Richards isn't going to demand the ball or complicate the offense with his needs. He'll set bone-jarring screens, roll hard to the basket, finish lobs with authority, and relentlessly clean up misses. All the dirty work that winning teams require from their centers. He won't solve all of the Lakers' problems, but he'll make them significantly better in an area where they've been consistently vulnerable. The fact that Richards is a playable center might not sound like high praise, but in the context of the Lakers' recent center rotation, it's actually a massive, undeniable upgrade. They need someone who can stay on the floor in crucial playoff games without getting exploited, and Richards provides that much-needed stability and reliability. Let's talk about the other player heading out in this trade, because Gabe Vincent's inclusion is just as important as Connect's. Vincent came to the Lakers with expectations that he'd provide steady point guard play, defensive grit, and veteran leadership. Instead, he's been inconsistent, injury-prone, and generally underwhelming relative to his contract and the expectations placed upon him. Moving Vincent accomplishes two critical things for the Lakers. First, it clears salary that can be better utilized elsewhere, freeing up valuable cap space. Second, and perhaps more importantly, it removes a player who hasn't lived up to expectations and replaces him with two players who directly address specific, pressing roster needs. That, my friends, is the essence of addition by subtraction, and it's a concept that championship teams understand better than anyone. For the Suns, Vincent represents a potential reclamation project. They could keep him around for the season, see if a change of scenery helps him rediscover his form, and then let him walk in free agency if it doesn't work out. There's minimal risk for Phoenix, and the upside of getting a productive backup point guard could be well worth the gamble. This trade, like any good NBA deal, only works if both sides benefit. So, let's examine why Phoenix, a team clearly in a different phase, would agree to this deal. The Suns are in rebuild mode, trying to construct a roster that can compete in the future rather than clinging desperately to the present. Trading away Richards and O'Neale, two veterans with significant salaries, allows them to dump money, gaining crucial financial flexibility, while simultaneously acquiring a young player in Connect, who, despite his current struggles, could still develop into a valuable building block for their future. The draft capital included in the deal sweetens the pot, giving Phoenix additional assets to use in future trades or to select prospects who fit their long-term timeline. For a team that's not realistically competing for championships this season, accumulating young talent and future picks is unequivocally the smart play, the only logical path forward. Connect represents the kind of low-risk, high-reward gamble that rebuilding teams should absolutely take. His trade value might be decreasing in Los Angeles, but that's partly because the Lakers simply don't have the luxury of time to wait for his development. Phoenix, on the other hand, has all the time in the world. They can give Connect playing time, let him work through his growing pains, and see if he develops into the player everyone thought he could be coming out of college. If Connect pans out, the Suns look brilliant for buying low on a talented young player. If he doesn't, they haven't sacrificed anything they needed for their current competitive window. It's a win-win proposition for a franchise focused squarely on the future. This trade proposal forces the Lakers to confront an uncomfortable, undeniable truth. They're either all in on winning now, or they're wasting everyone's time. There is no middle ground, no comfortable limbo when you have a 40-year-old LeBron James on your roster. Every single decision, every roster move, every strategic pivot needs to be made through the singular lens of maximizing this championship window, because once it closes, it's not opening again for a very, very long time. Trading Connect and Vincent for Richards and O'Neale is an all-in move. It's the Lakers saying with unwavering conviction, we don't care about 3 years from now. We care about winning a championship this season and next season while we still have LeBron. That's the right mindset, the only mindset for a franchise in their unique high-stakes position, even if it means sacrificing future flexibility and young talent. The alternative, holding on to Connect and hoping he develops, is the safe play. But safe plays don't win championships. Safe plays are what mediocre franchises do when they're afraid to make bold, decisive decisions. The Lakers are not a mediocre franchise, and they absolutely should not act like one. Everything about this trade, every single implication, comes back to one inescapable, brutal reality. LeBron James is 40 years old, and Father Time remains undefeated. James is still performing at an elite, almost superhuman level, still capable of dominating games, still one of the absolute best players in the league. But that won't last forever, and the Lakers need to maximize every remaining season they have with him. Waiting for Connect to develop is a luxury the Lakers simply cannot afford. By the time Connect potentially becomes a valuable contributor, James might be retired or significantly diminished. That's not a hypothetical concern. It's a mathematical certainty. The clock is ticking, and every day that passes is one day closer to the inevitable end of this championship window. This trade acknowledges that harsh reality and acts accordingly. It prioritizes immediate impact over future potential, proven production over developmental projection. And for a team with championship aspirations and a 40-year-old superstar, that's exactly the right and perhaps only approach. If the Lakers execute this trade, they're making a clear, resounding statement about their priorities and their timeline. They're saying that winning now matters more than protecting the distant future, that proven veterans are more valuable than developmental prospects, and that they're willing to make tough, unpopular decisions to maximize their championship window. Will it work? That, of course, depends on countless variables. Health, team chemistry, playoff matchups, and the unpredictable, chaotic nature of basketball itself. But what's absolutely certain is that standing pat and simply hoping things work out isn't a strategy, it's surrender. The Lakers need to be aggressive, need to make bold moves, need to optimize their roster for winning right now. This trade does exactly that. And whether it ultimately results in a championship or not, at least the Lakers will know with absolute certainty that they did everything humanly possible to win while they had the chance. So, here's my burning question for you, our passionate audience. Should the Lakers pull the trigger on this trade, or is moving Connect a mistake they'll regret when he develops into a star somewhere else? Are Richards and O'Neale truly the pieces that push this team over the top, providing that crucial championship edge? Or is this just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, a desperate attempt to fix a deeper problem? I want to hear your honest, unfiltered take in the comments below, because this is the kind of decision that defines franchises, that shapes legacies. And if this breakdown helped you understand the immense stakes involved, go ahead and hit that like button. The Lakers are at a crossroads, and the path they choose will determine whether LeBron's final, precious years result in more championships or more profound disappointment. Given the win-now mentality this trade embodies, what specific challenges do you foresee the Lakers facing in integrating Richards and O'Neale into their existing system, particularly on the defensive end?